More terror creeps into Pakistani Heartland. It was the home of a Muslim religious teacher, but he was stockpiling much more than copies of the Quran. His house blew up this month in a thunderous explosion that leveled much of his village and could be heard at least 6 miles away. The police reported that he was storing rockets, explosives, grenades, and suicide vests. But perhaps what was most disquieting or dispiriting was that this arsenal, apparently intended for more terror attacks, was not in the tribal areas in the northwest of Pakistan, where the Taliban and Al-Qaeda have long conducted operations. Rather, this was in the southern part of Punjab, the Pakistani Heartland. And the explosion is a stark reminder of what some call the creeping Talibanization, even of parts of Pakistan far removed from the formal fighting. Militants seem to be putting the entire country in play, and that's one reason Pakistan should be, could be, or would be President Obama's top foreign policy challenge. Or think of it this way. It would be quite terrible if Afghanistan or Iraq collapsed, but it would be unthinkably catastrophic if Pakistan, with perhaps at least 80 to 100 nuclear weapons, were to fall into chaos. Even in Karachi, the pragmatic commercial hub of the country, militants or extremists, or whatever have you call them, have taken over some neighborhoods. A Pakistani police document marked top secret says the spreading tentacles of the jihad states that Taliban agents sometimes set up armed checkpoints in one such neighborhood here. These militants of the Taliban generate funds through criminal activities like kidnapping for ransom, bank robbery, street robbery, and many other crimes, the report says. The mayor of Karachi confirms that Pashtun tribesmen have barred outsiders from entering some neighborhoods. There's no doubt militancy is increasing day by day, not only in Karachi, but all over Pakistan. Some music shops and girls' schools have been threatened by militants or fundamentalists, local residents say. The Daily Times of Pakistan has described the situation as terror's free run in South Punjab. But the militants may have overreached. Their brutality, including the flogging of a teenage girl before a large crowd, has shocked and pushed many Pakistanis away. A poll of Pakistanis released this month by worldpublicopinion.org found that 1/3 believed that the Taliban intended to gain control of all of Pakistan, but 75% thought that would be a very bad result. Just 2 years ago, only 34% of Pakistanis believed that Islamic militants constituted a critical threat, but now 81% do. And unfortunately, the United States has acted in ways that have often empowered the militants. The U.S. has given more than $11 billion to Pakistan since 9/11, mostly supporting the Pakistani Army. Yet that sum of money has bought Pakistan no security and the U.S. no goodwill. In that same poll, 59% of Pakistanis said that they share many of Al-Qaeda's attitudes toward the United States, and almost half of those said that they support Al-Qaeda attacks on Americans. And yes, that's bad news for the U.S. Again, so what about the nukes? Could they be used someday in another, much worse 9/11? It is becoming increasingly likely, if not possible or probable. One reason is that America hasn't stood up for its own values in Pakistan. Instead of supporting democracy, we cold-shouldered the lawyers' movement, which was the best hope for democracy and civil society. If we want to stabilize Pakistan, the U.S. should take two steps. First is to cut tariffs on manufactured imports from Pakistan. That would theoretically boost the country's economy, raise employment, and create goodwill. Cutting tariffs is perhaps the most effective step we could take to stabilize this country and fight extremism. In other words, the U.S. has destabilized Pakistan, actually the whole area. Second, we could redirect our aid from subsidies to the Pakistani military to support for a major education initiative. A bill in the Senate backed by the Democrat John Kerry and a Republican would support Pakistani schools among other non-military projects, and would or could be an excellent step forward. In rural Pakistan, you regularly see schools established by Islamic fundamentalists, typically offering free tuition, free meals, and even scholarships to study abroad for the best students. It's quite clear that the militant fundamentalists believe in the transformative power of education, and they have invested in schools, while we, the United States, have invested in the Pakistani military or army. So the question would be, why can't we show the same faith in education as hardline Muslim fundamentalists? So, are the Taliban growing stronger day by day? It's quite possible, if not probable. And yes, this could all possibly end up very bad for the United States, couldn't it? And once again, there's something bigger going on here, something much more, and everything is connected. And yes, again, these are more signs of the end times transition days. The transition is happening, and it must happen. And it is happening all around the world, every day, day by day.